Degree Net Podcast. Third Degree, the Third Degree Net Podcast. Third Degree, the Third Degree Net Podcast.
Third Degree, the podcast, is brought to you by our listeners, our wonderful supporters, people just like you. If you enjoy what we do here on Third Degree, the podcast, or on thirddegree.net, or on social media, all reporting on professional soccer here in North Texas, why don't you join us on the Patreon and give us a little support to help bring you news about this beautiful game we all love. Once again, thanks for your support.
Well, hello there, DFW Soccer Curious. Welcome to another episode of Third Degree, the podcast. With his smiling face and good cheer on the panel today, as usual, Dan Crooke. Howdy, Dan.
You can't make me do this. I'm just in denial about it.
You have to do it, Dan.
No.
It's in your contract.
Wait, is that what that crayon thing was about?
That's what the crayon thing was about. And your hero, my hero, everybody's hero, editor, founder of thirddegree.net, and the original sufferer and soccer influencer himself, Buzz Carrick. Coming, Buzz.
Well, while Dan is a river in Egypt, I'm actually quite excited by how that game went.
Half of it was good.
Will you guys agree with me that losing that game Saturday night in the manner in which it went down might just be the most quintessential ending to an FC Dallas Burn season in all of the 30 years?
Yeah, when it happened, I basically said to myself that exact thing. I said, oh, how Burn of them to have to go 93 minutes of great soccer and then just have a 10-second meltdown and blow it and then go into PKs and blow it. So, it is what it is, but I'll take the 93 minutes and I'll move forward. And I actually, given how bad the previous week was, everything has context. Given how bad the previous week was, Dan, I'm actually really pleased with that game. They were going to win MLS Cup anyway. So still, I love it. I thought it was good.
Oh, I mean, they punched above their weight. I just wish that they could have maintained what they did in the first 45 minutes and not lose every bit of intensity for the second half. There's a lot of clinging on at the end there.
So I got to watching the game about 30 minutes behind. I was probably the only human being on the planet Earth that went to go see the movie Begonia in a theater and then come home and catch up with the game live by halftime. Weird parallels. I'll explain that later.
Don't spoil the movie.
Here's the ending.
Yeah. She's
not an alien. She turns out to be a closet Burn fan who's miserable like the rest of us. How about that?
That explains a lot, yeah.
She appears in a big giant red Burn flat bill cap at the end of the movie, just like Eric Quill.
Yep.
So as I get to watching the movie, a unnamed national soccer journalist sends me a text and says, "This is not a soccer game. This is a cage match." And I thought to myself, well, that's exactly what Eric Quill needed to get this team to do to have any chance of beating a superior team in Vancouver. And I got to give Quill credit. He got them to come out there and just turn it into an absolute slogfest, kick the shit out of Vancouver and give themselves some opportunity. And you know what? Quill's the MVP of this team, frankly. He's the only thing that kept this thing going for as long as it did, and he almost managed to pull off the upset of Vancouver.
Yeah, I remember that Vancouver, you guys know this is a really, really good team, and they're even missing some of their really good pieces, and they're still significantly better than FC Dallas. They're a true contender this year, and that you cannot underestimate how good they are compared to FC Dallas. And the first 2/3 of the FC Dallas season was utter trash. We were having conversations about worst team ever. And then Quill has this remarkable rally, and you're 100% right. Given the week before, we talked about the comprehensive nature of that loss. It was one of the worst losses, if not the worst loss, in terms of pure soccerism that we've seen. And so you're right. The only way they were going to compete was they were going to have some grit and some heart and show up and fight for each other. And they did that. And that's what I was so pleased about. And because they had that will and that resilience and that fight, they were actually able to play a little bit. Now, did they dominate possession? No, of course not. That's not their game. But they were able to build out of the back. We saw a young kid like Nolan come in and look perfectly fine and not out of place at all.
I got questions about that, Buzz.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
And not get booked.
Yeah. And the only guy in the back line not to get a yellow. amazing.
Well, my question is, how have we not seen Nolan Norris at center back until this last game of the season?
Well,
he was so good.
Yeah, the thing about Nolan is that he's right at the age where you go from being a kid coming up to being a man as a player. He's right on that 20. He just turned 20 this year. He went to the U20 World Cup, played at the very highest level you can as a youth, realized, I'm good. I can do this. Got in enough training, got in enough games that it's clicking for him. And I'm sure that Quill, who's a great builder of confidence, went to him and said, you're playing because you can pass and you can handle the ball at your feet. Don't be afraid. That's why you're in there. And that's all it takes, right? I mean, it's like, think about Josh Torquato, like how much confidence that kid would have when he first came up. It's all about the confidence. How good is Bernie now that a coach has confidence in him? It's always about confidence.
Well, slow down on the Bernie part.
No. Relative context. Bernie last 2 or 3 years has been terrible. As soon as he got Quill back in his corner, oh, look at me. Like, so in relative terms, he's found his game again. No, he's not elite.
Are you leaving the throw-in that never was out of that?
No, context. I'm not saying Bernie's going to go to Real Madrid next week. I'm saying that Bernie, compared to last year, when he was awful, was actually a usable player. It's confidence, man. It's having a coach.
A lot of people was saying Nolan coming back from U20 camp was just a different person entirely. So, yeah, he gained that confidence. He gained that intensity.
I don't know if you guys remember us discussing this in the last couple of episodes about Lalas Abubakar and Ibiaga's lack of calm and confidence and on the ball. Like, you get the ball to either one of those cats under pressure and it is panic city. Nolan Norris is just another level, and he may be one of the best advertisements for the FC Dallas Academy you could possibly have, because you don't have to be a longtime soccer scout or expert to watch the difference between Nolan Norris on the ball and Lalas Abubakar or Ibiaga on the ball.
Do you remember when Paxton went to the U20 World Cup?
Yes.
And he played against France and he beat them across the board. He goes, I'm better than all these dudes. And after that, Paxton was a baller. Same thing. Like, Nolan went to the U20 World Cup. He got better and better and better. And then against France, he went 90 minutes and was like, dude, I'm better than these French guys.
Yeah.
Why would you not have confidence after that?
It is remarkable. And it is, again, a testament to how good some of these kids are coming out of the academy, that they can look that stable on the ball. And, so lots to talk about in this deal. And we'll probably talk more about this as we go through the game. But Dallas also benefited from one intangible, which was Tori Penso got assigned as the referee of this game. And she instantly was very clearly going to allow the game to play. And that played into Dallas's advantage. She didn't call fouls early. She let some really rough stuff go. I'm sure some people want to argue whether or not that foul at the top of the box against Farrington and Priso that she didn't call should have been called. I think she got it right. But she was letting things go, and she becomes a bigger part of the story later on in the game. But that really played into Dallas's ability to stymie Vancouver, because they, in my mind, Buzz, were doing to Vancouver what the Whitecaps did to Dallas up in Canada, which was the instant they were on the ball, Vancouver, there was a burn player all over their shit. And that's the way this team needs to play.
Yeah, they learned from that. And now, admittedly, as we've talked about many times in this podcast, it's tough in the heat to do that game after game after game. Dallas will really benefit from the winter schedule when it comes for that.
It helped. It was 62 degrees on a fine November evening.
Yeah, and let's don't for a second think I'm complaining about Tori Penso. I thought that she was even-handed. It didn't lean towards one team or the other. Like, everyone was getting away with. She was letting it all go. Yeah. And you're right. Vancouver didn't like getting back what they do to everybody else. And that's part of probably their learning process as they move forward in the playoffs, because it's going to get worse when they have to play LAFC or whatever else they're going to have to do. They're going to meet teams that are going to do that as well. So it did lend itself to Dallas to be able to play in that kind of game and get away with some of their stuff. I thought it was funny that the center back for Vancouver that you thought did not foul Logan, that he was actually the man of the match for the broadcast when he did almost give it that PK against Logan, and he got smoked by Musa on that goal with that body position. It's like, and then they went and made him the man of the match. I was like, I don't know.
Because he scored the goal.
He scored the goal. Yeah. I was like,
That's how loose that stuff is.
I know. It bothered me. And I was like, come on, guys. Really? That was your man of the match? But
who was Vancouver's man of the match for you then?
I mean, it's easy just to pick Mueller. He was so amazing.
They kept him really quiet.
They really did, relatively speaking, but his game management was really good. Berhalter, I thought, was excellent. Their six, what is his name, was just fantastic. I think he's.
It was an interesting game, and Dallas Quilp clearly set this team up differently because the other big change, Buzz, was that he stuck 3 center midfielders and gave themselves some support in the middle of the field in the form of Ramiro, Kappas, and Kayik, who, by the way, I love enjoying the fact that I call him Kayik. And Steve and Ryan on the local radio broadcast, one calls him Kayike and the other one calls him Kayiki. So now we've got 3 pronunciations of his name.
That's the Brazilian things. It was the same with Felipe Emiliaro. Whenever you spoke to anyone that was Brazilian, they would say Felipe. The official pronunciation, because it was more Spanish-based, was Felipe. And then he also said Felipe at times. So like Ramiro says it's different ways too.
Their 6 is Andres Cubas, who's a Paraguayan.
Oh, yeah, Cubas, yeah.
So the thing about Kayik is that if FC Dallas has the pronunciation audio clips, so all you got to do is go listen to him say it, and he says Kayik. And like I've talked to the PR guys, and they're like, "Yeah, we got mixed messaging on that because like early on they said Kayike, and that like permeated out, and people got it. Whatever, it's Kayik."
That was what people called him in Brazil. So I mean,
well, that's not what he calls himself.
No. It's funny. There was a Brazilian guy there a few weeks back or a couple months back, and I think during the evening, he said Kaiki, Kaike, Kaik. Portuguese. I mean, Portuguese is funny with pronunciations anyway, right? Bruno Fernandes is not Bruno Fernandes. He's Bruno Fernandes.
All right, I didn't mean to bog us down into pronunciation, Jim Jam. I'm sorry, I digress.
That's what we do.
I know. The point I was trying to make was the other big difference in this game was Quill's decision to change the formation and give himself a supporting character in the middle of the field, and that made a tremendous difference in this game.
It did. I'm not really excited about the idea of changing a tactic, but all 3 of those guys are used to playing in a 3-man midfield. And, it's just that generally speaking, Delgado's a bit higher. I thought it was interesting that Kappas was the player that was releasing the most and playing in the high role the most of that group. And bringing Ramiro inside obviously added a whole new component of possession game that just by having an extra possession type player in there that Kayik is not as good at when he's under pressure. Really did help the midfield. And that, of course, helps the back. That provides one more guy for you to pass out to. And then both Musa and Farrington can play a little verticality. They don't have to be rock star track guys to be able to do that. They both are strong enough to shield guys off. And you saw Musa's run for his goal where he cuts across the body of the center back and it just flawlessly sets himself up for a finish. This is really good.
The 3 of them in the midfield together clogged everything up really nicely and helped set the game up in many ways. Now, it was in no way, shape, or form by either team a clean game. There was very little sustained possession until later in the game when Dallas really started to cede possession in bulk and position on the field too, because they were really kind of sitting back just trying to hold on to the lead. I am curious, Buzz, is any of what we saw on Saturday night something that fans should be keeping in the back of their mind for 2026? In terms of personnel, formation, tactics, etc., or is this just like, hey, I got to set this team up in the way I got to set it up just to get something accomplished here?
Well, in terms of the tactics, not really, other than maybe the 3-man midfield. Like not to get too deep into next season already, but I think the back 5 will not stick around. I think that is a recourse that he did to stop the bleeding. And we talked last podcast about the macro level of where Dallas's offense has been good enough and their defense has not been good enough. And so they'll have to do some things to shore up the defense for next season. I think that means a change of formation. But, I think you can look at the Musa-Farrington combination and how pivotal that is to the success this year. That is really a key. Those guys, Kappas with people that can pass and play possession in midfield, really important. You don't want to, I don't think Quill's going to go for like a 60% possession kind of team, but you need to have some people in there with Kappas who can build a little bit. You need to be able to play through the middle a little bit. Colodey's feet being really good, that's really important. How much better they look when Nolan can pass and Irgide can pass. You have those components are really important. So those are some things that you can carry forward, I think, from this particular game, even if it's not the exact 11 and the exact tactic that you'll carry forward.
So what, in your mind, Buzz, was the biggest difference between the game in Vancouver where they produced 3.6 XG and put 22 shots on Dallas versus last night where they were barely able to conjure up just under 2 expected goals and only had 10 shots?
Well, it was the ability of Dallas to actually connect a few passes together. You know, like too many times, we talked about it after the first game, too often, the minute Dallas would get a turnover and they would get a ball at their feet, they would get hit, they'd get slapped, they would get a tackle in, Vancouver would, and Dallas would lose possession almost instantaneously. Well, in this game, because of Nolan, because of the extra person in the midfield, they were able to link a pass or two together and relieve a little pressure. Instead of having Julio up top, who's a get going, they have both Musa and Farrington who can post up and hold and relieve pressure. And they have Farrington who can create chaos and get at their back four and knock some guys around a little bit and get a couple turnovers in their end. Remember, this Dallas is always about getting a turnover for themselves. They never, ever, hardly ever build all the way from the back up and get a shot. Almost all their opportunities come from a mistake from the other team in the middle to the forward half of the field for Dallas. So, you know, Farrington's chaos creating is a big part of that. All those things matter. You know, they didn't have the exact elite game they would want because they're missing like a Delgado type guy who can maybe string it around a little bit more in midfield than Ramiro or Kaique can. But, you know, the simple ability to play out of the back, a simple ability about to connect to the midfield, a simple ability to get a little pressure of your own up front was all the difference in the world. And a lot of that just happened because you were at home and you found the intensity that you were missing in the previous game.
Yeah, Musa had a much better game. It was funny, the entire game, as I was thinking how much better he was Saturday night, I was reminded of Dan's comment in the previous episode that said, you know, it always seems like Musa comes back from a suspension. Was it he returns from suspension or a missed game and plays poorly? Is that what it was?
Someone in Discord had mentioned it. Anytime he's out, his first game back is just dog shit.
Yeah, well, this game was not dog poopy. No, it was much better. Now, I will say this. When the incident at the end of the first half happens between Musa and Berhalter, when I saw the one replay out of the corner of my eye, I thought that was just a collision caused by Berhalter turning into Musa. But somebody sent me a text and said, dude, that was really dirty on Musa's part. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, he totally knew what he was doing. He was lining him up, staring him straight in the face, and lined him up and leaned into it. And I went back and watched it today. Musa knew what he was doing and lined him up. And he's lucky he didn't knock him out.
Well, I think that bracing yourself is different than teeing off on a guy. Like if a dude turns and sprints at you and you stand your ground, you're not the one that's initiating the contact. If you brace against that, you're still not the one initiating the contact. Listen, dude, my whole life as a player, people have smashed into me and fallen down.
I get it.
I don't fall over. Musa's a big dude.
I understand. But there's a difference between letting a guy run into you and lowering your shoulder and lining a dude up.
I don't think he lowered his shoulder. I think he just braced himself. Did he get a card?
No, because I don't think. Well, first off, VAR can't review it for a yellow, and Penso didn't see it.
Well, okay. I don't
go back at Buzz. Go back and rewatch. Go back and watch it. He lowers his shoulder into him.
It's only a little, but yeah, he just leans into.
I don't think he lowers his shoulder. I think he braces his body. I think those two things are very different. I don't find that play.
It's a minor note. It's a minor note. I think in terms of that and the way Farrington played the game, both of them. That's just another example of the indicative. That's just another example of how Quill had these guys wound up for this game. It's like he switched out the club, the team water for piss and vinegar. They were all over the place in terms of just being bastards last night.
With Farrington, can we get like Blas Perez back in to teach him how to dive?
Yeah,
because it was like with the penalty, it was a perfect example. And there were a couple of times where Dallas was in really good position up front, and he just flopped and ceded possession, and Penso wasn't falling for it. And it's been pretty consistent through the last few months.
He definitely needs a dark arts finishing school.
Yeah, there and Vancouver got away with a lot of things. Ocampo got away with at least two very questionable: the slap on Kappas at the end line, and then the other thing where he kicked out at somebody. I can't remember who it was that fell on him, and then the Kubas incident. You know, I thought and that Kubas tackle when that was borderline.
Yeah,
you know which one I'm talking about?
Oh, it was high up.
Yeah, it was high. Yeah.
It was cleats into whoever that was he was into, and there was definitely a one where a guy followed through and just outright kicked a Dallas player. You know, but it was like you said, Pinto let all that stuff go both ways, so I don't have any complaints about it from each side.
That's kind of a good way to take the playoffs.
Musa is another quality, and I am, one of my off-season concerns is that somebody's going to come hunting for that guy outside of this league. One of my favorite things he does when they get him in behind a team is that he's not afraid to run across in front of a defender and make a defender make a choice like he did on the goal. He's just really, really top notch. I don't know if you guys ever want to talk about that, but that's my observation is he's just another level.
I mean, he's an exceptional player. There's a reason wit he's the DP to get paid 10 times as much as everybody else on the team. I mean, he's a next level product who knows how to use his body. Farrington and he play really well together. Farrington could learn from Musa better how to take a hit and go down more appropriately, little less obviously, and those kinds of things, a little bit of that stuff, a little bit how to manipulate the defender. That's one of the great things that you see really high level caliber players do is they know how to position their body around a defender, and bad players don't know how to do that. That's one of the things, if you watched Mueller in this game, he does that all the time. It's just really good about taking a little step or a little slide or getting himself right inside a guy, just perfect positional reading of the game and a little manipulation of the body and stuff like that. That's some next level stuff that Farrington will get better at with time as he plays more.
And I probably should have brought this up first because I thought one of the best parts of the game was the question I think a lot of people were asking as they were watching this performance. Where has that Shaq Moore been all season?
For me, Shaq Moore, when you play him at pure right back these days, there's too much room inside him and he hesitates and gets in trouble. When he's as a wing back, he's much more free and open up and down, and he has a little protection on the inside. When he plays as a center back, again, he's got a guy on the inside of him. He's got a wing back on the outside. It's compact. It's tight. His athleticism can make up for his slight, slower reading of the game. It's made up for by the tight space and his athleticism. So, that's where you're at is with him is is he in a position where the collective defense can cover for when he does make a slight mistake, which he does. And the most obvious ones are when and they're back four and those switches come across and his winger is coming hard to the front post. And Shaq Moore's always with him, but he's always 10 inches behind because of that split second that he hesitated to start really going full speed. And he gives up that goal 5 or 6 times this year. He's given up that goal because he's slightly behind on the read and can't recover quite enough.
You're talking mostly tactical stuff. I'm just talking about the dude was up for a fight last night. I've never seen him battle like he battled last night. Steve Davis on the local call made a really interesting observation that Shaq Moore is, borderline former national team player, and he was sized up against a Canadian national team player. Again, somebody that's kind of on the fringe of the national team. I think Ahmed's he is. Kind of in and out. And maybe that meant something to Shaq differently. He just needed to show something, especially, I don't know if you guys heard the news, but there was a national team scout in attendance at the game last night.
People often raise their game when that happens, but also, maybe Quill challenged him. I don't know Shaq Moore well enough to know how he responds to coaching. So maybe it's just taken a while for Quill to find the right way to get him to respond. Is he a guy that needs to be challenged? Is he a guy that needed support and confidence building? I don't know. So whatever it is sometimes it's taken Quill a little bit while to figure him out. Maybe it was getting confidence playing as a center back and feeling more comfortable with your team as a collective. Now, if you put him back out on the wing, now the game opens up for me because the sideline's helping me. And now I can focus one direction.
All right.
It's hard to know for sure.
let's take a look at the other side of the field in Bernie, who, I just feel like this is a great example of a guy who clearly isn't up. He's not at that level. He was really poor in Vancouver. He was better in the second game, but man, he was turning the ball over too many times. Ironically, the goal, did you guys notice that the goal that Dallas scored to open the game was actually started by a Bernie Camungo turnover? He turns the ball over, and Vancouver plays the ball into Dallas's side, and then it turns over to Ramiro, who plays the ball. But that starts with a Bernie turnover.
The thing that killed me with Bernie was, throwing aside, he would lose the ball and then he'd walk.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Shaq is on the other side of the field, sprinting his ass off. And he's just looking there like, oh, someone else will pick up my space.
Well, his teammates gave him an earful.
Oh, Nolan ripped him at the end. It was glorious.
Yeah. I think that, I've talked about how I think Bernie has, after a couple of seasons of going backwards, he actually just took a step forward again this year. But this is a game clearly where he's not at this level. Half of MLS, he now is good enough to compete against. But Vancouver, he is not. And keep in mind that, their wingers are really good. And their outside back on that side, who's that? Ocampo? Is that who's on that side? I think it was.
Yeah.
Again, so he's getting as a wing back, he's getting a double. And this is where you just, at some point, eventually you just run into somebody that's better than you. And this is a case where Dallas as a team ran into somebody better than them. And Bernie in particular is one that's this is past his level. He was clearly not integrated into the team. He clearly wasn't reading the game right. He clearly wasn't getting back and hustling. He was clearly feeling out of his depth, I thought. So this is one of those things where at a point you just run into people that are better than you. And if Bernie keeps improving, which he could, he's only 24, but he's just not there yet.
Yeah, I do want to praise Bernie because I thought the finish for the goal that got disallowed for offside was actually a really nice finish. That wasn't, a lot of people blow that opportunity and he didn't. So it's tough. He's just a kid, man. I mean, he was playing UIL high school soccer not that long ago. So.
I think he wasn't the only player that was over their head. Kayik, I thought, against Vancouver was over his head.
Yes.
He definitely got wound up because he was chasing Muller trying to kick him.
Yeah. Ibiaga, despite that he was in this game mostly okay, I think this is the level where he's out of his depth as a starter, especially at his age, which he shouldn't be, particularly at the end. He obviously was.
Did you guys, speaking about Kayik, am I the only one that picked up on Kayik's weird glaring he was doing at Torrey Penso most of the game?
No,
the camera kept turning. There were a couple in fact, in the moments before Vancouver scores the goal, he gives up a really crummy foul at midfield, and he puts a glare on her that was a bit weird. And then the call on the end line that ended up giving Vancouver a corner kick that I'm not even sure was supposed to be a corner kick. We never saw a very clear replay of it. He's up and
it was out for a goal kick.
Say that again.
Thought it should have been a goal kick.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. My point is that he was part of trying. I think that she was saying it came off of him, and he was giving her the business. And because I just wondered for a split second, and maybe I'm making this up, but because he had been kind of, I don't know, weird with her in the moments earlier, is that she had to make a choice 50-50, and she said, "Screw you, I'm giving it to Vancouver."
Well, certainly that can subconsciously be true. That's why people try and manipulate referees. Captains will, butter them up or talk to them in certain ways, or why you remind her, hey, that guy does this all the time. He does this all the time. And after the whole game of him nagging at her, she might be subconsciously screw that guy.
Yeah, maybe I'm making it up. Yeah. But go back to that the 60 seconds before the corner kick and watch him commit the foul, and then watch him backpedal and stare her down. Yeah. And you just wonder if that didn't somehow play into her decision to give the corner kick about 30 seconds later.
I mean, who knows, but certainly could have been. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Okay. I thought Kappas was really great. Did we ever definitively hear what the injury was that caused him to come off at halftime?
Hamstring.
Okay.
I only heard upper leg, so Dan's got more than me. So.
Okay.
He did it. It was early in the game, so he soldiered through the majority of the half with it.
And so on pops on Sebastian Lletget for the first time since mid-late September.
It's been a couple months since he started anyway, for sure.
Yeah, and he was great, solid.
He was his best player in the second
which
half.
makes me wonder, where has he been all this time?
All I can think of is that he must have, like, even though they cleared him to play, he must have not really been clear, not really been like comfortable, because like they definitely seemed like he was not even within the thought process on some of these games where I was like, boy, they really could use, like, you go back to the game where they at Vancouver, where they subbed in all those kids, and Quill's comment to Weeby, remember, I need some soccer players. Well, Jet's a damn really good soccer player. So it's like, and he wasn't even in the combo. It was Norris and Garcia. Like, so he must not have really been in the selection. You know, I mean, Ennis Solly came in the game, for Christ's sake. So, you know, it may be one of those things where like he was healthy, but not really healthy. You know what I mean?
Because he was off a hamstring injury as well. So, I mean, it might have been one of those like lingering ones where it's still a little tight, but in that moment it's, hey, I need someone because it's an elimination game.
Yeah, at that point you roll the dice on everything. Like everything's out the window because you're about to be done anyway.
Well, Dallas held firm. Unfortunately, for them, they couldn't hold on firm enough as obviously Vancouver was able to tie it, and it goes to PKs. We can talk about that in a little bit, but I do want to get into Buzz Quill's thinking in terms of substitutions, because it was pretty clear that the gas tank was running low on multiple players, Shaq Moore in particular, who kind of got burned by Nelson for that, you know, getting beat to the end line, which caused the corner in the first place. And a couple of different midfield options. I wondered, was that more of a reflection of the lack of things that Quill could turn to, and he just was worried about giving up quality versus gas or something? I'm curious what you think about this.
Yeah, I think at that point he feels he's out of choices. You know, he doesn't really have anybody that can come in for more at that point. Like if you put a Bubakar on for him, for example, that's not any better. You know, it's like Shaq Moore tired is better than a Bubakar fit at right wing back anyway. You know, so like I think the really late subs just felt like, as they said on the broadcast, I think they just felt like PK. So they were so late. It's like, why are you doing that? Except maybe you think it's good for the PK, but I don't understand why those two guys, you know, would be considered good for the PK necessarily, you know, unless it's just a last second, you know, like maybe in 2 minutes, one of those dudes can do something magic and something good can happen. Because otherwise I don't really understand those subs.
It was fully for penalties. So I asked about Pedrinho because, I mean, it probably didn't come across on the broadcast. He didn't warm up once during the game. He was sat on the back of the bench with his jacket on. He didn't go anywhere for half time. He was just either in the dressing room or on the bench. Supposedly he wasn't actually carrying an injury. But Quill said he was only brought on for the penalty shootout. He also said,
did you say Pedrinho or Delgado?
Pedrinho.
Yeah. Okay.
Delgado was also for the shootout. Quill said that he's been phenomenal in training. You know, anytime they have kind of a penalty drill or anything. But yeah, it's a shame Pedrinho didn't get to take one, and obviously Delgado kind of overtook it a little bit.
Help me understand that, guys. You bring a guy on at the right before the end of the game, supposedly for penalties, but he's not one of the five?
Well, he would have been. Nolan was fourth and missed.
Ah, that's right. Nolan wasn't fifth and missed. He was fourth and missed. Okay.
Well, I have two big problems with that scenario. And one is that I think guys that haven't been in the game tend to not do well on PKs. If you come into the last second, then you're like, all your mind is on that. You haven't been playing. Your mind hasn't been going through the game. You're just, all it is the moment. And the second thing is that PKs in practice are not PKs in a game. PKs in a game, especially when it's a game on the line, is 90% mental, 10% skill. It's the mental will. It's the ability to shut out the noise. It's the ability to turn your mind inward and be focused. 19 and 20-year-old kids don't have that, especially 20-year-old kids like, in my mind, Pedrinho or Delgado, who are a bit flighty in and out and don't have dominant willpower. I cannot fathom how whoever's making that choice, I don't know if Quill is the guy who dictates the order or if he lets the players do it. Most coaches will say, I want the players who want to do it to do it. So if a guy goes, I want to do it, then you're in, and they'll sort of let the players even decide it. Well, that's the point at which Ramiro, as your captain, needs to be like, listen, 20-year-old kid, you're not taking the damn PKs. I'm taking one. Did Musa go? Musa was first. I mean, like at that point, even Leggett, who's played in the highest level, played in Europe, played for his country. Why is he not taking one? Why is Uragide, who we all hear all the time, has got these amazing feet and can do all these great things with the ball? Why is he not taking one? The guys that are your veteran, mentally tough, dominant willpowers need to be taking those PKs, not 20-year-old kids. And you've got Delgado, Norris, and Pedrinho in there. Now, Norris is mentally tough, but he ain't taken PKs at that level before in his career. And that's different. It's the atmosphere that's different. And that's why it should be. This is the one time where I'm not like, play the kids. I'm like, play the dudes that have been there and have seen it and aren't going to be flustered.
I think like if you're going to go with kind of the inexperience, Nolan on the whole is, anytime there's a shootout like youth national teams or anything, he's in that five. Sam Sava, I would have expected to see. I mean, if you want someone who's confident in front of goal, it's him more than anyone.
Someone who demands the ball. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, obviously there was thought to it. Quill had a plan.
I don't like it.
Didn't play out for whatever reason, but that's the game.
Do both of you guys feel like he, even if he didn't have the best options, should he have made substitutions that may have helped prevent the Vancouver goal?
Well, that's why I don't think he had anybody at that point.
Yeah, who do you replace Moore and Bernie with earlier on?
Bernie was for Pedrinho. Delgado came on for Kayik.
Anderson Julio
came on for Farrington. Now, I wouldn't have said Anderson Julio take a PK. That wouldn't be a guy I would pick. Well, Jet replaced Kappas. So, like,
Wait, you
still
wouldn't have your striker take a PK?
Well, Musa went first, and Farrington was out of the game. But I wouldn't have Anderson Julio take one because Anderson Julio is not a refined player. He's a player of power and pace.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't necessarily translate to, the kind of mentality and gamesmanship that a PK is. Like there are some defenders that can be great PK takers. Zarco, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's not, you would take Zarco 10 out of 10 times and you wouldn't take Chivas Martinez. Just to throw, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
man, you were going old school, Buzz.
Okay, yeah, okay.
If you're throwing out Chivas Martinez,
you would take.
I get it. I get it. I hear what you're saying.
Perez over Brechet, in a PK.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. I totally can see Anderson Julio shanking a PK.
Yeah,
and if you had to, before the game, if you had told me Delgado would be the second PK taker, I would have been a little bit suspect of that because I've never seen him take one. But when I saw him line up for it before he took it, I was like, he's missing this. You could just tell it's written on his face. He doesn't look confident. His body language was all messed up. And sure enough, he hit the post. And Nolan's was the same way.
Yeah. I mean, over Pedrinho and Delgado, I would have taken Norris, but I would have definitely taken Ramiro and Leggett over any of those three guys for sure as a PK taker, in my opinion. And probably Urigide too. Just mentality.
Probably.
Shaq Moore looked good on his PK.
I was a bit disappointed Collodi didn't save at least one. There was a couple of those. I thought
There was one he was just a bit too short.
I know. This is the 6 foot or 5'11" and 3/4 versus 6'3". This is like
almost 6 foot.
Look, Collodi's feet are amazing. They're so much better than Musa. But this little
pause?
thing, right? Pause. I'm sorry.
He's a better shot than Musa.
Pause. This is the one little thing. It's like it's getting horizontally across to that post on full extension. That 3 inches and the explosiveness side to side that's where Paz is. I keep trying to call him Paz is stronger than Collodi. So
the Kenji Cabrera penalty was the heartbreaker. The one that it was their third, played it pretty much down the middle. Collodi goes full stretch, moves, like kind of changes his body position, but just could not get down in time for it.
Yeah.
Like just read it, but yeah.
Moose's PK was a bit lucky too, because Takaoka
barely,
had it.
Well, speaking of body language, I did not like Collodi's the way he looked. Not the body language per se, but his expression did not look confident going into those PKs. He looked nervous. And again, it's his first real season as a big time pro, so I understand.
North Texas lost a lot of penalty shootouts last year.
Yeah, I think that this, these kinds of PKs is probably the weakest part of Collodi's game. It doesn't come up very much in MLS.
Yeah, and I guess with Paz on the bench, and Paz has a bit of a track record of being decent at that stuff and being bigger and all of those things. I guess it's a tough call. Like, do you sub in a cold goalkeeper?
I was wondering. I thought about it. Like the last 3 minutes of the game, I was like, after the goal, I was like, okay, you can sub in Paz. It's happened like in bigger games than this.
Yeah, Tim Krul in the World Cup.
Yeah. We got to the penalty kicks before I wanted to, because I wanted to spend a little bit of time just talking about the last 30 minutes of this game, because as much fight as Dallas had put out for the first 60 minutes of the game, which had really powered their way to the lead and everything, as the gas ran out, so did their ability to kind of push Vancouver, and they began to kind of sit deeper and deeper, and you just kind of felt like the goal was coming, and unfortunately it came at the very last minute of the game. And again, this always goes back to the larger problem that we've talked about all season, which is just the quality of the roster against when you're playing the first place team, and the gap between Vancouver and Dallas became more and more apparent as the game ticked on.
You know how, are you guys big enough NBA fans? Do you know how when the crunch time comes, they shorten the bench? The expression they use, they stop playing 7, 8, 9 guys. They just play like 6 guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is what's happening with this team down the stretch run into the playoffs. Quill's pool of trust shrank, and he got deep into these games, and he would only use 2 subs. Like Dallas basically used 2 subs up until the last second, right? When he has 5, he just didn't have guys on the bench that he trusts. The previous game, when it was over, he put in a solid.
Yeah,
for Christ's sake.
Gotta be honest, I was sitting there like 75 minutes just trying to figure out what do you change. They are keeping Vancouver at arm's length currently. Do you disrupt it? I remember there was a game that Lucci he made a double substitution. They immediately conceded, and he was just beating himself up after the game. He said, I changed it for the sake of changing it, and I ruined the rhythm of the team. And you can definitely second guess yourself in those moments and really mess things up, right? Someone doesn't pick up a mark assignment, a set piece, because they've just got into the game and they haven't really got the rhythm of it. It can be anything like that. So, yeah. I was sitting there personally, like, I don't know what you changed to improve anything here.
Like if you'd have brought in Abubakar for Ibiaga, would that goal still have happened? Man, I don't know. Abubakar makes mistakes too, especially mental ones. So
and Abubakar's slower off the line.
Yeah. So I don't know that. I think there's a point at which you just sort of run out of possibilities and run out of options. Cool. Look, I'm a fan of not using all 5 subs. I think you should only sub if you actually have something, as Dan says, that can actually affect the game or can actually do something. Don't sub just a sub. But you're supposed to be able to play 90 minutes in this game. This is what we do. But in this case, you've just seen it over the back month. It's been getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And I would imagine that there are guys that he on the bench that he could trust, like a Pomacall. But bringing in a Pomacall, what are you gonna do? Bring him in from Leggett, who are doing pretty well. Maybe you bring him in from Kaik, but I don't know that changes that much.
He's another one I'm just a little bit surprised not to see for a penalty.
Yeah, I would have taken Paxton over both of Kamungo and Pedrinho for sure, and probably Norris too.
They would have had to stop play to repair the net after Paxton ripped a hole in it with his PK.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the gumption that you want on a PK taker for sure. Yeah.
Well, boys, 30 seasons in, and here we are. There's always next year, as we say.
Always next year. Welcome to Burn fandom.
Yeah, I feel bad. On the Discord last night, your good Patreon member Corey posted a picture of him comforting the best Burn fan in the world. We all know him, Doc Reynolds, young Doc Reynolds, who is such a dedicated fan of this team and really lives and breathes all things FC Dallas, and he was pretty crushed last night. And I feel bad, I think the three of us, or especially Buzz and I, this is just another kind of end to another season. But I feel bad for those people that are relatively new to this and not quite used to the middling kind of frustrating season of whatever, and then suddenly now they build up all your hope and you start thinking maybe something's going to come out of this only to crush you like a little ant at the very end.
I think it really helps to stay in the now, in the sense that like the first game, the game 1 to game 2 actually makes me feel really good. So I left that game watching that game. Left watching that game not at all upset, because I oh, look, there actually is something here. There's a core here. There's a mentality here. The things are going in the right direction. Because where were we in the middle part of the season? We were like, this team is utter garbage. And now I don't think that. Now I think they have a good solid base. And they can add a few pieces and take a good step. So,
well, we'll do dump or keep here in a couple of minutes because the roster stuff's coming. What were you going to say, Dan? Well, before we do that,
I was going to say, if it's any consolation, Luton Town just celebrated 140. Oh, is in the middle of celebrating 140 years. We've never won a league title.
So it's Dan's fault for bringing
most teams in England have not won a league title in over a century. It's just it's part and parcel of the sport.
Yeah, I get it. But there are a lot of people that are new to this, and they haven't been putting up with this for as long as we have, and so I feel bad for them because I get it.
The new paradigm of MLS too is that we're now seeing a separation. These teams at the top that have all the money. That have the Messis for $50 million that are talking about getting rid of the salary cap, or your LAFCs, or
before we started recording, I popped over and was watching the Austin LAFC game.
Yeah.
By the way, I know that a lot of people don't like the Apple deal, but the production quality, the video quality of the games is off the charts. Like coming off watching the NBC football game or the Fox or CBS games earlier today, the difference in the quality of the video of an MLS game is exponentially greater than anything else we're watching on television.
Wow, nice.
It's really, really good. Anyway, my point, the other observation about that was LAFC is like Vancouver versus LAFC, if they end up playing each other in the Western Conference Final, is going to be a bonkers good game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or also it'll be complete and utter trash as they both stop each other and it's 0-0.
Maybe.
And they stand around.
They were curb stomping Nico and Austin. It was 3-1 when I turned it off. So
it'll the one of the things about the MLS playoffs that does make it fun is that all the games feel like cup games. Dan knows all about cup games. Cup games have a different mentality. And as you get deeper into this playoffs and you get really good teams going for this thing against each other, the intensity is going to get cranked up, especially because you don't have to worry about the next week. It's like if we lose this, we're out and we get to sit around for 2 months and get fit and happy.
So Dan, what was the vibe at the stadium last night? Was it? I know they announced a sellout. Was it a butts and seats out?
Nah, that's probably 9,000 now.
Wow. Okay, there were that many. Okay, I thought maybe it was a little.
I mean, we've all seen it before, right? They have a game on Halloween weekend. They have a game that's a later kickoff than usual. It never works well for them.
Okay, how was the atmosphere?
It was okay. It wasn't incredible.
The construction is just killing it, isn't it?
I don't know how much of it's the construction versus just where things are with fan relations and the makeup of the fan base, kind of transitioning between eras of supporters groups and things. But it definitely feels like the active involvement is not where it has been 10 years ago or will be 5 years from now.
You're going to get your wish, Peter. It looks like LAFC is at Vancouver. LAFC has won. They got to go up.
Yeah, that'll be the semifinal, right?
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Next game.
That will be a fantastic match for sure. All right. Well, LAFC wins on penalties and ends up beating Dallas 2-0 in the series and moves on from there. It's the end of the 30th FC Dallas season. And by the time we do our next episode, we assume Dallas will have made all their roster announcements, Buzz?
We're pretty confident that that's the case. We think that they will have, because they're supposed to do it within like the week that you get eliminated, because everybody else has already started doing theirs that didn't make the playoffs. So you're supposed to do it this week. You can assume probably the club had today, Sunday we're recording, and then they'll have Monday off probably. So Tuesday and Wednesday should be exit interviews, and that way Thursday or Friday, depending on like that. Sometimes they'll hesitate because they're trying to contact somebody or they're trying to negotiate with somebody at the last second. But I think maybe by Friday you might actually have the names out, for the moves.
All right. Now we're going to do dump or keep, meaning we're going to run through the roster and talk about who needs to stay and who needs to go. But before I do that, I just want to let everybody else know, and I'm sure we'll talk about this in more detail maybe next week, is the Players Association salary release came out literally the day after last week's episode, because we talked about this in last week's episode, only for them to release the new updated version, which was dramatically different from the one earlier in the season. And am I saying this correctly, Dan or Buzz, that Dallas was after removing Lucho Acosta's salary and all the other adjustments with players that left in the summer window, Dallas suddenly dropped to the second lowest salary in the league?
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, wow. You mean all that talk about saving money on a rebuild of the rebuild of the rebuild turned out to be true?
Well, part of that too was like the players that they sold or traded this summer, not even accounting Lucho Acosta, they replaced them with cheaper players. So like all four other moves they moved were budgeting moves, and they already had only one DP, and they have guys that are not even on the roster, that don't count. So, down there near the bottom.
All right. We'll talk about that in more detail next week.
I imagine it's beginning of team building, that it's going to come up, but it's, it is what it is at this point.
All right. Well, there were some interesting notes about what players were making what, et cetera, that I do want to get into, but we don't have to do it today. But I did want to bring it up in relation to what we're about to do in our annual run of dump or keep. All right, let's run through the names. We'll go in alphabetical order in the list that Buzz has supplied us. Lawless Abubakar, dump. There, I said it.
I'm actually on a dump too. He's under contract. You were right, Peter. This is one of the numbers that changed. Is his 700 turned into 400 mysteriously? Whatever. That makes him more palatable. So it's okay if he sticks around, but I would try and move him on if I could.
Yeah, if you can find someone that would take him on a trade, it'd definitely be worthwhile.
We're gonna. I'm gonna jump and say, I'm gonna jump to Ibiaga because he's related to this. Dump or keep?
Dump.
Okay. So we're suggesting they should dump both those guys and replace both of them?
Yes.
See, I don't think this front office is capable of doing that. So if you're going to keep one and get rid of the other, who do you keep and who do you get rid of?
I'm asking if Ibiaga's willing to come back on 400 to 500 grand, take Abubakar's money and ditch Abubakar.
Abubakar is cheaper and Abubakar is under contract. Ibiaga's an option. You just decline the option. That's easy. The hard part is moving Abubakar. That's the one you're stuck with, probably. Because even at 400, that's probably hard to move. Ibiaga is 33 and is on, if you picking up his option, he's on 800. So, and you just saw this last game. Look, if they're going to a back four, you're going to, God forbid, they better sign a damn center back as your starter next to Uriguide. We've already seen that Shaq Moore and Nolan Norris can play center back. We've seen that Alvaro can play a little center back. That's 4. Plus, you're going to probably have like a homegrown or something like that. There's no reason to bring back either one of those guys.
Okay, but I agree. But let me just throw something out. You said Shaq Moore and Nolan Norris. They were playing center back in a back 3. There's a big difference between center back in 3 and 2. Do you think Norris and or Shaq Moore are actual usable serviceable center backs in a 2?
it matters less more what I think about Quill thinks. And Quill, like a week ago, said that if Shaq Moore can extend his career by 10 years because he can play center back.
Okay.
Like he's been playing.
All right. Alvaro Augusto.
Keep. He's under contract anyway, but keep for sure.
Yeah, he's got 2 more years.
All right. Mr. Romero.
Dan?
I mean, he's your captain.
Yeah, keep. Your locker room needs him so badly.
I know he's not the most popular person with the fans, but yeah, his locker room presence is unreal. Everyone loves him there.
I would love it if he wasn't a lock 11 starter. If he was a utility player, I would like that, but I'm definitely keeping him.
You just need to get 11 players that are better than him, unfortunately.
I know, which right now they don't have. Yeah.
All right. Our friend Christian Kappas, obviously, keep him
for several years.
Especially based on the salary that we heard he was getting. What a ridiculously low
right
deal.
Around $250. Yeah, what a steal.
Good
Phenomenal.
Lord.
Yeah.
Christian, your
Plus,
agent, sir.
he's the number one. You remember what we talked about when he signed? Like I made him like Daniel Hernandez in the sense that like Kappas is 100% bought into the Quill magic. He's Quill's voice in the locker room. Quill says we're doing this. This is what we're doing. Yeah. So that's huge.
Clody, keep, obviously, homegrown deal.
100% keep, yep.
Man, Buzz, you're going to have to explain this Lucius Dietzen deal. This is a guy they made a big deal about signing in the July window.
Yeah.
I think he played a total of, 10 minutes?
And is not making benches ahead of people like Enes Solly.
And what was he making in the like 450 or...
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's still on 300.
Okay. All right. Well, that's still a lot of money for a guy that isn't playing.
Well, they paid $1 million for him too, which don't really.
Okay, explain that to me. What's going on?
So I've asked around a little bit, and what I get is that the quote unquote scouting department, which is the technical guy, it's not Quill, it's the other guys. It's Sandro.
The other guys, the ones we bitch about a lot.
They've been apparently after this guy for something like, or tracking him or trying to get him for like 2 or 3 years. So this is a front scouting department club signing. Now, one of the reasons he didn't play for Jack this year is because since when he arrived was when they changed to a system that doesn't use wingers. So he's a pure winger. There's no winger. So he's not playing. That's going to be the question. Okay, if I get a whole offseason and I'm switching to a shape that has wingers, will he be in the mix? Either way, he's going to be here because he's got the longest contract in the club right now. It runs through like 2030 with options. So get used to him being around. Hopefully the Quill will find a way to use him, or else they can get rid of him and trade him or something. But
he's also, I think, 23 going on 24. I think he'll be 24 at the start of the season. So, I mean, it's not like he's a peak guy. He's a guy that's going to grow into his team. He's the same age as Herbert Endeley and Thomas Pondeka.
Yeah, we should not write him off, but that's what the formation's why he didn't play, because he doesn't fit.
Yeah. It just felt like this was a season they could use a usable body, not a guy who's for the future.
Sure, but, inappropriate signings are the key, right? We just take a bunch of bodies and dump them in a pile. Okay, coach, you figure it out.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
There's no plan.
I know. That's one of the big problems.
So there's no plan signing. So that's what it is.
All right. Delgado.
Keep. Yeah.
Can we get thinner, fitter Delgado?
Well, sure, that'd be nice, but
more mentally head right with ball Delgado.
Well, he made big strides this year, so I'm hoping that now that Quill likes him and he's bought into Quill's stuff, that he'll actually make an improvement. I mean, he's 20. Like, let's not panic just because. 20 years old.
Oh, I'm not panicked. Herbie Endeley.
Yeah, he got tore his ACL in Colorado Springs, so it's over. That's cool. Good luck to you, kid. He played the USL. That's a dump.
Even if you give him his option, he's not going to be fit until the summer, realistically. So, just rehab at that point.
Yeah, I would just decline him. Wish him good luck.
The Beaver.
Oh well, yeah, keep of course.
It's a given.
Yeah.
Okay. Kaiki KK Key.
Well, you better keep him because you didn't buy him for this year. You bought him for the next 5 years, I hope. Because if you bought him for this year, you made a big mistake.
I got a question. Do you think Kaik ended up playing way many more minutes than they ever imagined this season?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if I look at next year's roster and like who I would think would play with the way I think Quill wants to play, I don't think Kaik's a starter.
If you had to give Kaik a letter grade for his season right now, Buzz, what would you give him? I'm holding my letter behind this hand here, and I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna write it down here.
That's not a letter. That's a middle finger.
I'm right. I have written my letter down here, and I will show you just to prove. I've got my letter written down.
Yeah, I'm a B- on him because a lot of it's context. Like I had no expectations that a 19-year-old kid who's never played in the first team was going to actually be any good. So
that's
B-,
okay.
I thought he was okay.
All right.
I mean, I'm going straight B because, I mean, from what I was told, they expected him to be on the bench and get decent minutes, but not to be a regular starter.
Yeah.
See, I thought when you spent $4 million for a guy, you should probably, and you needed a center mid badly, they probably should have reached a little higher. I gave him a C, but you guys are probably right.
A C's fair. That's not unreasonable.
Okay. Diego Garcia.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Keep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Future star.
We already did Ibiaga.
Yep.
Jacob Jackson.
Jacob's a free agent, so you can try your best to re-sign him. Right now, he's on 104, which is like the higher bracket of the supplemental roster players. Given the performances that he put out, someone's going to offer him more than that. So you're going to have to come up to like, reserve keeper number, which is probably like a 200, 250. I don't know if Dallas can afford that for him. I mean, try and keep him, but somebody may want him as a possible starter challenger.
Let him go be a number 2 somewhere. He's earned it.
Okay. Giovanni Jesus.
Yeah, keep for now, just because you got to see if there's actually anything left. He might be.
He's a 2-time knee blow explosion.
He's been out for 2 years, but you already paid the money. Like it costs you nothing to keep him at this point because you can always just leave him on injured reserve.
Okay.
It won't get roster relief, but it doesn't cost very much because he's a U22 guy. Doesn't cost you anything.
The Sox guy, AJ.
Yeah, Anderson Julio.
Yeah.
Dan, you want to go on him?
I'm done with him. He's too much money for too little output.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to decline. And basically, it's mostly because of the money. He does have a green card, which is nice, but
he's eating up TAM. Like he's 825, I think it is, after everything.
The fact that he's not a starter here anymore, that's starter money. I mean, that's big time starter money. So it's a decline option for me too.
There's going to come a point in time where we're going to review the preseason signings that everybody was all hot and toddied about with this club. And
I was really excited about Anderson Julio, but he did not, because of the way that, again, the tactics changed, it didn't work for him. And the injury in the season really cost him. He did not pan out like I thought it was going to.
I always get a little worried when you sign somebody else's bench player to be your starter.
Oh, look at Bianca.
Well, I mean, it depends because he was such an effective impact player that it was like,
Sure.
Can you convert him?
No.
I think his transfer is kind of like the Lucho thing, right? If they didn't make that move, they had no ambition whatsoever. He goes somewhere he actually fits in, and he's an MVP candidate. They screwed up big time there. They had to go for him. It just didn't work out the way that they hoped.
We live on a big planet, Dan. There are a lot of soccer players to choose from. It just, whittling down to Anderson Julio just seems pretty. Anyway, we'll get to that.
You don't like him. I quite liked him. I thought it was a good pickup.
I thought if you were going to hire him to do what he was doing for Salt Lake, that would have been a keen idea. But I never liked him as a starting player in your front line.
Fair enough.
Especially in the Texas heat.
Yeah,
all right, Bernie.
Oh, yeah, keep.
Yeah, I mean, it's through 2027, then 2 options. I mean,
Yeah, he's got a role, especially if you're not keeping Anderson Julio.
Du Bois.
Hey, thanks for the run, my dude, but it's over. Good luck to you. Pass.
He is on an option.
Yeah, for me, you don't pick up his option. If he can get paid in California, great, more power to you. If not, then let's talk smaller amount.
Nah,
he's another locker room guy. You saw the second half of the game. He was.
Can I make a
best player
suggestion
on the FC Dallas team by far?
Paxton or Diego Garcia. Go ahead, Peter.
If for some reason at his age, if Sebastian Lletget announces his retirement, Dan Hunt would open the Brinks truck and make him the media face of the team.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, he'll want to do that in California, not Texas, but I'm with you. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
If you pay him enough money and you make him comfortable and you give him an outlet to kind of grow his second career, this is a wonderful place to start it, and he'd be really good at it.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Well, I mean, a big thing with him is he's an entrepreneur, so it depends a lot what his businesses are doing and where he's operating.
And as we know, all the other things that were obstacles into making those kind of things happen are now out of the way. So now all options are on the table in terms of media for this club.
Stop it, dude.
No, I'm serious. I'm not being rude or anything. I'm just saying, like, the front office is changing. If you're going to, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, you've got an opportunity to do new things. And if he's going to retire, let him do it.
Okay. I'm with you.
Okay.
I agree. Yep. So,
Pedrinho, don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out.
Get out of here. I'm done with that guy.
Oh, I'm picking up his option. He's cheap.
Are you? Oh, man.
Yeah, I mean...
But what does he do, Dan? He doesn't do anything. It's zero product out of that guy.
He can be a good late game sub. He is nowhere near a starter. I think, a year to see what you can do, see if you can earn another contract, and if not, then all right, sod off.
No, at the end of the day, to me, remember, he was Lucio's boy, and like he was involved in the disruption of the locker room. And there's like 5 dudes coming out of the academy or already out of the academy on homegrown deals that are the exact same player. They're not as good as him because he's a little older. These guys are a little bit younger. So like I'm ready to move on to somebody else.
All right, Shaq Moore.
Yeah, keep. Yep.
I want that Shaq Moore. Petter Musa. Good Lord, I hope they keep him.
Well, Buzz, down forever.
What's the minimum if people come knocking in the summer? What's your sell price?
20. Pebby money.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, because you got to double. Because remember, they paid 10-ish, maybe 13 if with incentives, right? Well, we met certain things. Well, he's killing it, so he probably met them. So 20 is a good 50% profit in a 2-year window. He just broke your club record for goals in 2 seasons in a 2-season window. If you put together another season just like that, he's going to have another run at breaking the club record. So if you can keep him, this is the big if, but the price is 20 for me. I wouldn't take a cent less than that because he's producing and paying off every cent you paid to get him, paying off in spades. And he's young enough that you could still get your money back post World Cup. Maybe. Maybe that's a better window when the calendar's flipping and there's that little half season when no one's going to give a shit, right? That's when you move him.
I have no idea who this person is. Enzo Newman.
He's the draft pick they had that tore his ACL 3 games into the season.
Okay.
He's the really fast young outside back.
He isn't anymore.
He's been around the locker room a lot lately. He's definitely reintegrated with the team.
They were quite high on him when they picked him. So
what was his position?
It's an outside back.
Okay.
Mostly a right back, but he can play left back too.
Yeah, in preseason, the first few sessions, he was levels above Marco Farfan playing left back.
I think that the idea behind getting Shaq Moore and for a season or 2 was just to give Newman time to get ready because Newman's going to be
interesting. Okay. The third generation of Dallas blonde greatness, Nolan Norris.
Yeah, he's on an option, which means he's going to escalate to the senior part of the roster. I think he's proven his worth. And if nothing else, there are still German clubs that want that dude. So pick up the option. If somebody comes in with a couple of mil, maybe you consider it. Maybe.
I'm not picking up his option. I'm just giving him a new deal straight up.
You want to extend? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you pick up his option and then try and extend if you can. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you just pick up his option and someone's like, hey, "Yep, we want him."
Yeah.
You ain't getting much.
Yeah. Well, I think you're right to try to extend him, but you in the next month you try and extend him, but you pick up the option in December.
Oh yeah, but you can say you've got until when do you have to do options?
December 3rd. Oh.
You can say hey, look, we're going to negotiate, and if we haven't got there by then, we're just going to extend, or we're going to pick up.
Yep.
Man, I wouldn't want to pay for the flight back, but Siki and Sebling?
No. Just, his loan runs through June anyway, but just let him. He's never going to play for Eric, so just let him stay. Whatever the price is.
Yeah, hopefully
slash the price. Let him buy him.
Hopefully, Mamelodi Sundowns will want to pick him up at the end of it, or he'll go back to. I can't remember if it was Orlando Pirates or Kaiser Chiefs, whichever it was. He was originally with.
Martin Paz.
Dan.
Martin is, if someone wants to come in with some money, Kaladi is a good starter. That helps move things along. Otherwise, he's a very serviceable part of the roster.
I'm 100% dump, sell, trade. move him.
Can I make the argument that seeing Martin Paz have to win his starting position back actually is an interesting idea to me?
Yeah.
What does a Martin Paz look like that really, really is not sure he's the starter at this club?
I don't know, but since he got involved with the Indonesia stuff, his game has gone downhill because he cares more about that than he does FC Dallas.
I think now the World Cup dream's kind of out the way. I mean, like he is definitely bought in the locker room. He's part of everything. So, I mean, he's not sulking. He's not
maybe so, but
anything damaging.
The way that Quill wants to play, it requires a keeper with good feet. So Collodi, we talked about Collodi's shortcomings in the PK and Paz would be better, but Collodi's strong suit, which is significantly better than Paz, is a massive part of what the way Quill would want to play. And one of my rules for how you build teams in MLS, if you can get an American, particularly in your spine, to do a job of an international, you do it because international spots, there's only 8. Dallas always needs 10. Sure, that's true. Paz did get his green card. I'm sorry.
I mean, still, probably the biggest thing for Paz is he makes $500,000 as a backup right now. I guess. Right. Okay, so hypothetical: if you get, would you trade him in league, or would it have to be an external sale?
No, I trade him in league.
I trade him in league.
Okay,
sure,
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't trade him to Houston.
I mean, that's where every FC Dallas keeper goes to die, apparently.
I wouldn't, God forbid, trade him to Seattle or some direct competitor like weird shit this team has done lately.
Yeah, I would try not to trade him to somebody that's one of the best teams in the league where he would push him over the top. But,
right. So Atlanta, I got it.
I mean, there are teams that are desperate for a really good goalkeeper, and you have one that you maybe don't necessarily, and you have a guy who is a good replacement that maybe even fits the style better. So this is not anti Martin Paz. It's like how you build teams is like if you have a cheaper, younger American, I know Paz got a green card, but he has the pull to the girlfriend, to Europe, to Indonesia, whatever. I'm just saying that, like, for me, this is team building 101. I think you move Paz for whatever you can get.
Is there an MLS market with a large Indonesian population?
Well, no, but Dan's Atlanta shout is a good one. Gazan just retired.
Yeah.
They're going to need a big time keeper, and they're a big time club with lots of money.
All right. This is an interesting one. One Paxton Pomacall.
Well,
he's got one more year on his deal.
The $1 million bucks. The ruthless asshole in me was like, they should have put Paxton on the injury buyout, like middle of last season. Even now, the salary is just astronomically insane compared to the amount of minutes you get from him. Now, if they know something I don't know, which is that they're 100% confident that he's 100% healthy, that dude's only played one full season in his career. One season as a full. He's had another season that was about 80%, but he's only had one full season. Most of them are only about 20 to 50% of playing. So that money that he gets, I love Paxton as a person, but like on paper, it's a horrible contract and a horrible decision. Unless he is a dead solid lock, 100% healthy. And then I'm okay. Because if he is healthy, he's a DP level player.
Were you surprised he didn't come into the game last night?
A little bit, but like
at the end when they needed legs.
The fact that at the middle of the game at halftime and Kappas went out, the fact that the choice was Lletget and not Paxton tells you everything. Paxton's good for like 20 minutes. And it's been 2 years, man.
Yeah.
Like, why do you think that he's going to be good for more than 20 minutes? And so $1.2 million for a guy that plays 20 minutes.
And the buyout, the advantage to the buy. So somebody asked me about this the other day. If you're going to pay him anyway, then why don't you make him play? Because the answer to that question is if you buy him out, well, then you can use that cap space, that money you're spending on some other player. If he's playing, you've spent it on a guy that's not playing.
It's a max salary slot on the salary cap, and it's the TAM that you're paying that's twice that slot to buy him down.
Right.
So it's like it's equivalent to two, max salary players or one, damn near DP. I mean, he could be a DP on that number. So
I know. I know a lot of people were really excited and hopeful that he was going to be a thing in 26. I will be surprised if he is on this roster. I think they're going to use a buyout on him.
Quill sees him and Kappas as the starters of the future of this club.
Okay.
Listen, I get that, but that is a humongous risk. And I'm sure Paxton will be mad that I'm saying this, but like, if we're going to talk about the fantasy land that we are on this podcast of rebuilding this team like we're the GM, that money is insane for a guy that you have no idea if he can play.
Let me put it this way. If he's on this roster next year and there is some sort of significant change in his health status, I'm fine with him being on it as long as they also bring in somebody else as a third person to play that position. That's an equal starter position. And those three players can battle each other for those two spots.
I wonder if he would take like an 8-year deal on like $250.
By the way, Paxton's another guy that I would consider putting in front of the television, in front of the team, if he decided to retire because he can't play anymore.
Man, they told me they were going to do a whole bunch of social media with him, and he didn't do it. And I don't know.
Yeah, he may not want to do something like that.
I mean,
he may decide he wants to go sell real estate or something. I don't know. I'm just saying.
I know after the relapse that there was, it seemed contentious. The kind of mismanagement of his minutes. So.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't blame him for wanting to be. I know there was a notion, like within the club as a whole, even like with his recent return of like, do not make a fuss, don't make this about him, just let him focus on being a soccer player.
I mean, if we 100% knew he could play 30 games, then it's fine.
Yeah,
but.
But this is the Paxton Pomacall fan club headquarters, by the way, everybody. We all rooting for him. We all want him to be healthy and play 30 games next season.
He should be in the national team. He should be in the national team.
100%.
But
yes.
He can't say he can't play for 2 months without getting hurt.
Yes. I'll show you the GIF I have of him getting stuck in against France in the World Cup 100 years ago. I love it so much. All right. Thomas Bendeca.
Dump. Sorry.
Okay. Anthony Ramirez.
He's not even starting from New Mexico. Anthony Ramirez is a keep. He's a homegrown. He's just now getting to the first team. So he's got future.
Yeah, at least pick up his option and kind of see how he can move on.
Cheap and nothing. Yeah.
All right. Carl Sante.
Dan.
Give him a year, see what you can do.
Yeah, I would be half tempted because if he can't win a spot in the rotation, you could just send him to North Texas and he would be a really nice piece for them trying to put that team together, because you could park in the middle of the field and it would help you a lot. Gall would love him. So like, that would be the only reason I would think about it. But on the other hand, I think that he's certainly got USLC value. So like, if you pick up his option, you actually might be able to sell him for a couple bucks. Wouldn't be a lot, but you could do something with him if somebody comes calling.
Okay.
The biggest ding against him is international.
Yep. The Haiti call-ups. Yep.
Oh, I mean, like, he's an international roster spot.
I know what you meant. Surprised he doesn't have a green card yet.
All right, here we are. Enes Solly. The curious case of Enes Solly.
Do everything in your power to get rid of that guy. I have no idea how he's still here, and I have no idea how you get rid of him. I mean, if you have to, just loan him in North Texas for the whole year. He has no business being around FC Dallas.
He couldn't start in a Mickey Mouse league.
The two of you also believe that at some point, like 15 years down the road, we're all going to find out a story, the real story behind the signing of Enes Solly, and we're all going to go, yeah, we thought something about that was up.
My belief on that is that they took someone's word that the kid was a baller, that they did it basically without having seen him, that somebody they knew. And I think I know
an expensive.
I know. Well, it wasn't the $3 million. It was only like
it was like 1.3.
Yeah, but still, sight unseen signing to me is like. I just think they just got
criminal,
snowed.
man.
I think they got snowed on that one.
All right, adios, Mr. Solly.
I don't even know how you get rid of him though, but you got to do it. Yeah.
You make him Tex Hooper,
mini Tex Hooper,
tiny Tex.
Sam Sarver?
Yeah, keep him.
Keep.
Yeah.
You think he's on the team full-time next year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tariq Scott?
Yeah, keep.
Okay. Poor kid has to leave Monterey Bay.
Well, this is the last run, this one. Like, keep him for one more year. Like, I think you're going to a system that's going to have wingers, and I think you're going to move out a couple of wingers at the top. So, you might lose Musa if the price comes in. So, like, he's the best goal scorer to come out of the academy in 3 years. So like you got to keep going. Hope it comes good. So keep.
All right, Mr. Torquato.
Yeah, he was made his debut at 17. That's amazing. So,
yeah, that is amazing.
For sure. Yep.
And holy cow, yes, the one great bright shining light of this miserable godforsaken season, Asaze Uragide.
Yeah, it's obviously a keep if you can, because just like Petter Musa, people know who he is. He played really well, So like people have tape.
Thomas Mueller's calling somebody, going,
Thomas
"Hey,
Mueller's calling somebody.
This guy was giving me the business the other day and got in my face and everything."
But I don't think he's unhappy.
Get him out of here.
But it's like you definitely better hold on to him because
you
all right. Need a center back.
Well, there is our annual edition of Dump or Keep. Successful.
Not as many dumps as you might think. Only like 5 or 6.
Not enough dumps, guys. This team needs a lot of dumps.
There's only 11 players you can kind of dump without their consent.
Yeah, I think I have 8 or 9 if I included Abubakar.
Yeah, I was 2.
And that's about right. 9, 10 guys out. That's pretty normal.
Yeah. I think I was like at 10 because I don't know one Tariq Scott.
Yeah, I think the difference is that we know that the manager is going to be the same. I assume he's going to be the same. And we're not going through this new era transition Jim Jam that we've gone through between Lucho to Nico to Quill. So I think that's interesting. And Quill clearly has demonstrated an ability to squeeze some juice out of a pretty sour lemon and get something out of it. And that's a big deal. And again, the performance Saturday night was a significant shift from what we had seen the previous week. It would have been interesting if they had pulled off that tie even if they had won on PKs and gotten to a third game against Vancouver in Vancouver, it would have been interesting to see what team we saw in that third game.
It's remarkable what he's done. If you look at the salaries, look at the top 10 of the salaries and how many of those don't perform or do not deliver. He's got 1 DP. He's got half of his TAM guys either didn't come through or don't play at all because they're hurt. He's got 50% of his U22s are not even viable options at all.
And his hat's too big. I mean, he's really been dealing with that all season.
He's got his head down. And
you think they'll give him a hat that fits next year?
No, I think he likes that hat.
They'll just give him the man of the match hat.
That flat build, whatever. That's his look. It's his style.
Signature look, man. Whatever works.
It is.
All right. Well, let's see. Anything else you guys would like to talk about at this episode? Yeah.
Well, we should probably hit on Dallas Trinity. They got back into action today.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot there's the rest of the run sheet. We've been going for almost an hour and a half. All right. Trinity had their game today at the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, we don't have to go deep on it. They got beat pretty bad. Their midfield is, I'm sorry, atrocious. Like they got Wisner in there still, but Missimo's played 4 games since she signed. And so like they lost Sam Meza, who's an MVP caliber player, and the person that replaced her has not played since forever, right?
Missimo.
And Missimo. Did I not say that?
Yeah, you did, but I was trying to make Yeah,
and then one of your top 3 players, Deb Abedin, you go into the start of the season and like 1 game in, she gets recalled. And so your midfield got decimated and you got nothing. And so the players that are trying to roll in there are basically guys ladies that should be on the bench, or 1 or 2 of them, maybe not even on the team at all, in my opinion. But, they're just scrambling, trying to figure out what to do. They're kind of trying to bypass midfield. And it's not really working. Allie Thornton, who's the Golden Boot winner, as far as I know, she has 0 goals, maybe 1 or 2. She's not anywhere near on the pace she was last year because she's not getting service. There's no midfield. So that leaves your back line exposed, and that's why they're what they are. It would be like if you took your midfield that FC Dallas has been rolling out, instead of having, Paxton and Cabas, you were running out there with 20-year-old kid and somebody just out of college you picked. It'll be like Endele and Bedeca running out there. It's like, this would be bad.
Well, they play Sporting Jacks on the 8th, and that game's at 4 p.m. This is
hopefully.
Huh?
I was going to say, now that's 5 without a win, so hopefully they can turn that around.
Well, it's this weird season. There was a bunch of teams that were really, really good last year and then crapped the bed in the second half of the season. So maybe this will be better for them. Maybe they'll start slow and gain momentum after the turn of the calendar. They have a bunch of home games coming up because they played so many away games during the Cotton Bowl or doing the State Fair and everything.
6 or 7, yeah.
Let's see. Nothing with North Texas, nothing with Atletico, but Buzz did have a chat with Texoma.
Yeah, Ben Watson, their owner. I'll just keep it pretty quick. They're moving down to USL 2. They're very focused on.
They relegated themselves.
They're very focused on the idea of developing audience, developing connections. They look at what Portland did. They look at what McKinney has done, and they want to try and be more locally focused. And that's what we talked about over and over and over again, was the idea of playing these teams close by, playing teams that people would care about and trying to help grow their audience. They're aware they don't have enough audience. Their stadium situation is no longer going to be high school games there. There's only going to be middle school games there at Bearcat or whatever it's called.
So they're staying in Sherman.
They are for now. They're going to have some opportunity to make it a little more branded for them because it's only going to be for middle school games now other than them. So they'll do a little bit of stuff there. The bigger news is that they are still committed to eventually a USL 1 team. I think that this is just sort of a reset back a little bit. If and when this team comes back, he talked about maintaining the pathway and having the USL team two teams still exist as part of the academy to that team, to the USL 1 team. So I think eventually you will get a USL 1 team back up in that area. Now, whether that's called Texoma or it's called something else and it's in maybe some other venue, perhaps it's going to be in their region. But so stay tuned because they're just committed to it. There's we're going to see how long it's going to take, because if they can't build in the audience, it'll never happen. They got to build some audience.
So is this the reveal and or conclusion to the mystery of all the stuff that came out about a new pro team coming to Salina?
Officially or unofficially?
They were all lying to us?
No. What they said publicly is true. It's just Texoma. They're staying in Sherman. They're going to be in USL 2. They've never really said anything about beyond that.
Well, then what was the whole marketing thing that got released about Salina?
Some of that may have been accidental. Some of that may have been trying to test the waters, perhaps. I'm not really sure. I don't think they really want to go into all that stuff. I tried to push a little bit and they were kind of they kept steering it back to next year we're going to be in Sherman or we're going to be in
No, Buzz, look behind this curtain.
Yeah, right. Well, I do know that they've got some kind of news drop coming this week.
All right.
That I'm talking to them again on Wednesday about what this news item is going to be. So we will see. Maybe there's some coming, but for now, look, if the bottom line is if they don't build some audience up there, it's not going to fly. You got to get people that got to get excited about soccer locally. They got to figure out how to do that. They got to tap into the market like Portland has done, like Chupacabras have done. So they need to take some lessons from Hitch, or it's going to not last very long. The other thing of importance is that basically, effectively, all their players are free agents. And Dan, the question of your Adrian Forbes question was, he is still the head of their soccer operations. So they're talking with him about what he wants his role to be and whether he's going to coach the USL team or not. He does run the whole thing though still. So he's still there and involved. So I know you're interested in that part, but all their players they've been trying to help their players move around. Obviously Diego Pepe was there, who's on an option, by the way, as a homegrown. Dallas. So we didn't get into some of those extra. There's 5 or 6 other homegrowns that we didn't even bother talking about because they're not even on the FC Dallas roster. But
hey, Dan, only because you're the English guy here.
I am.
I see this news that USL has hired the Premier League chief football dude, Tony Scholes, to head up.
Yeah, never heard of him until that story. So, I mean, that's encouraging.
Okay. Well, everybody's all excited because, here in the United States, anything that has the label Premier League on it suddenly awards it some sort of status and instant credibility. I'm just curious if you knew anything about Mr. Tony Scholes.
Yeah, no, never heard of the guy.
All right. He's being hired apparently to head up USL's Premier Division, whatever that's going to be when they officially decide to play it.
I mean,
2028.
Do you reckon they're getting excited thinking it's Paul Scholes?
No, maybe it's his brother, Tony Scholes. Anyway, so I was just curious if Dan had heard of the guy because everybody's all excited, and I got.
He was chief executive of Stoke City for 17 years. So I don't think he likes good football.
If he's English, he's probably going to be awesome at this because English people automatically are great coaches or administrators in the United States leagues. That's what
Howard Webb was awesome.
That's what people tell me. It's the voice. The voice means they're great.
I mean, I legitimize everything, right? Somehow
we wouldn't be anywhere near as popular. I mean, we wouldn't have 57 weekly listeners if it wasn't for you. We'd only have like 33.
56.
We have a lot more than 57, dude. Come on.
Oh, I was low.
We got more than that on YouTube.
Had a couple of thousand on at least.
All right. Very good. All right. Well, here we are. We're sitting at the end of yet another FC Dallas season with nothing in hand. I guess we're kind of numb to it now.
It's used to it. Yep.
All right.
But I feel positive about the upswing. I feel like I'm moving in the right direction.
You blame me if I say to you, wake me up when next season starts?
Well, for 6 years, it's been getting worse every season. For 6 years. 3 years under Lucci, each season got worse. Nico came in, did good, and then each season got worse. Yeah, this is the first time at the end of the first season it's getting better.
Okay, but okay, yeah. I don't want to be the downer. All right.
Well, you know how I feel about all that stuff. So, like, for me to say that, like, I feel like it's on the upswing, I feel like it's pretty good right at the end of the season.
Yeah, I guess my point is, Buzz, we talked about this last week. Yeah. Dallas getting to where they did also required the failure of a bunch of other teams, you know?
Yeah.
So we're not that far away from not even doing this podcast after a playoff game.
I was basing it on the display versus Vancouver in the last
game. Oh, the last two games. Yeah. I suppose there's something
Only
to
the
that.
last one, not the last two. The last two, the first one was brutal. The second one was good.
Yeah.
It was a solid 47 odd minutes.
Till Kappas got hurt.
I don't think it's unfair for a Dallas fan to want this to be more than something that scrapes into the playoff and we're feeling better about the performance between a game 1 loss and a game 2 loss. We've been doing this for 30 years now, Buzz. We deserve better than that.
Yeah, but I've told you before that I've resigned myself to that they're never going to win it.
Okay.
So, yes, it's not unfair as a fan to think that, like, I hope I would think that we deserve a win. But man, it's a lot easier if you just assume they're never gonna. It's a lot less painful.
And not look at the and not look at the Players Association salary rankings.
Just enjoy the fact you have a Division I team to watch play.
Dude, we're gonna have 3 in DFW here sooner than later.
It's gonna be fun.
In theory.
Lots of options.
I suppose. Yes.
Oh, all of a sudden there'll be competition for people's viewing habits and dollars.
Yes. All right. I'm so looking forward to talking about USL Premier's debut and the rules and all of the gatekeep, whatever, all the loopholes and exceptions they're going to make and announce upon their debut that everybody's going to piss everybody off.
Who's in, who's out?
I'm so excited when they finally announced that, hey, we are doing promotion and relegation, but not to Division 1 for the first few years because we want to stabilize it.
Yes.
Because all the people who've been like, oh, pro rel, yeah, they're going to get really shitty.
Yeah,
it'll probably be like there'll be no pro rel for the first 3 or 4 years to stabilize it, and then they'll bring it in.
That's it. It will just be between champ and 1.
I don't even know you get champ and 1. You just get 1.
No. But what he's saying is there won't be any relegation out of the Premier League. The promotion relegation will only happen between championship and the existing championship and the second and third tier. Mm-hmm. Is what he's saying.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. That's what I've heard the plan is.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think that when they finally announce this USL thing, there are going to be a lot of really, really disappointed pro rel tinfoil hat people who have been, anticipating this with great with bated breath and everything.
Like right now in USL, there are 4 teams that meet the 15,000 seat requirement. So even if they manage to find a bunch of teams tomorrow, you have, you don't have anyone that could be promoted, or you'd have to
I'm sure all
have
those
US
teams,
Soccer give a.
and they're going to they'll get exemptions to that rule for a period of time until they can get their stadium situation put together. But everybody that's in that thing paid to get in it. They didn't win it through merit, a meritocracy system. They paid to get there. And it won't surprise me at all that they don't start with promotion relegation. I mean, it just, and there's going to be a massive battle about which teams go up there and which ones don't. Which championship teams move up, which ones don't, all that stuff. There's a scenario that plays out where the top 3 teams in the 2027 USL Championship season don't get promoted to the Championship USL Premier League because they can't, not because they won, they were the best teams in the previous season, but because they don't have the money to pay it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think there's obviously the romanticized view of promotion relegation that everything it becomes a meritocracy, but there's the haves and the have-nots, and you might get a small variance, but ultimately, it is the haves and the have-nots.
And let me also say, for the Atletico fans and or front office people and or owner people related that are listening to this and probably getting frustrated and or angry at what we're saying, we're wildly speculating only because there has been zero information about this since they announced it however many months ago. Like, they've left us all in the lurch trying to figure out what this is going to be. So all we're left to do is speculate.
This is the first actual concrete thing, is this hire. That there's been nothing, no announcements, no nothing. There was an investment into USL people think is about that, but this is the first thing since they announced it. This is the first anything, is this guy's been hired.
Yeah.
That's it. They don't have a name. They don't have a structure. They don't have a number of teams. They don't have a date. All they have is that we hired a guy. So
you got to start somewhere, Buzz.
You got to start. So first step.
And he's from the Premier League.
Baby steps. I'm sailing. Yeah, he's a Brit. Thank God. Thank God we got a Brit to run it. That'll be great.
Worse yet, from Stoke. Jesus.
All USL Premier League teams will serve awesome pies.
What's Doug Logan doing? Get that guy in. He'll fix it. He can run a league.
Is Doug Logan still alive?
I don't even know. Probably know he's not alive.
How many Third Degree pod listeners know who Doug Logan is?
Doug Logan is? Yeah, I bet it's low.
I thought you were talking about Doug Quinn for a second.
Oh, this is good. Hold on. Wait a second.
That's even more obscure.
Wait. Dan Crooke, do you know who Doug Logan is? Don't Google it. Don't Google it, you cheater.
No Googling.
First thing on Google is a pasta.
No, that's definitely not him.
Okay.
No.
I assume he was
he was the first commissioner.
He was the original Don Garber.
Yep. He launched Major League Soccer.
I didn't know if he was Mark Abbott before Mark Abbott.
And it was also the name used in the one-time famous MLS rumor. Not Doug Logan. Remember that, Buzz?
Yeah.
Remember the old
thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Dan, back in the day when the Big Soccer did not Doug Logan mostly post at Big Soccer, or where was it?
Yeah, I think so. That's before social media, really.
The Big Soccer forum boards, there was an account called Not Doug Logan that used to throw out all the hot rumors back at the time.
MLS Rumors was
MLS
awesome.
Rumors, yes.
Yeah. And Grapher's
Break news,
Pants.
yes.
Remember Grapher's Pants? That was a good one.
Yep.
Early days of MLS.
Yes.
Crazy shit.
Boy, we are old. Good stuff. All right, boys. Well, as we say this time every year, there's always next year.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. Let's go. I'm in.
There we go.
I'm excited. I love off season. This is my favorite time of the year.
I know.
You just write all these mystery stories. Conjecture.
I'm just looking forward to the odd Saturday off, honestly.
You gotta cover Trinity games, Dan.
Yeah, that's why I said the odd Saturday
Awesome. Third Degree, the podcast, is brought to you by our listeners, our wonderful supporters, people just like you. If you enjoy what we do here on Third Degree the Podcast or on thirddegree.net or on social media, all reporting on professional soccer here in North Texas, why don't you join us on the Patreon and give us a little support to help bring you news about this beautiful game we all love. Once again, thanks for your support.
Dan, thank you, sir. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Enjoyed you very much. And Buzz, high five, another one in the books for us old dudes.
Thanks, man. One of the longest episodes ever, by the way.
Well, it deserved it. And thank you, DFW Soccer Curious. Doc, chin up, dude. You're awesome. This is going to, at some point, they're going to come good for you. I promise. And I will all of my burn stuff to you when I die. How about that? That'll make you feel better. And the rest of you, thank you so very much. We will speak to you next week on another episode of Third Degree, the podcast.
Well, they tried.
Third Degree, the Third Degree Net Podcast. Third Degree, the Third Degree Net Podcast. Third Degree, the Third Degree Net Podcast. Third Degree, the Third Degree Net Podcast.